Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This week sees us visit Lydford, a quintessentially English village, hidden away on the edge of Dartmoor in Devon. In this video we will explore both the Norman village church of St Petroc and the nearly 800-year-old ruins of Lydford Castle that served primarily as a harsh and unforgiving prison and courthouse. So join us whilst we go back in time and explore both the church and castle here in the lovely village of Lydford. The history of the village begins in the Dark Ages. By the 9th century, the Saxon kings of Wessex had established a burh here to protect the area both from Viking raids and also from the Cornish. Fortified during the reign of King Alfred, in Saxon times Lydford was considered equal in importance to Exeter. As well as a stronghold, a mint was established at Lydford in the late 10th century. Some of those coins that were minted here have been found in Scandinavia, possibly having formed part of protection money made to the Vikings by the Saxons. As well as the charming church, there are the remains of medieval Lydford Castle to still explore, which it wasn't actually a castle as such. It was more a courtroom and prison for both of these functions, and was originally built around 1195, which took the form of a freestanding tower, at least 2 stories high. Lydford Castle does not seem to be primarily designed to have had a military function, although in 1199, when King John succeeded to the throne, he had the castle garrisoned and expensively equipped to prevent any potential unrest breaking out into the region. The castle lacked the usual military features of the time, such as an external gatehouse, and its design seemed to have been intended to invoke the authority of a traditional defensive fortification, rather than to resist an actual attack. During the 13th century, the stone tower was rebuilt, and a mound piled up around its base, making it look like the older Norman Motte and Bailey castles. The reason for the mound is not known, but it may have made the lower floor cells even more damp and uncomfortable for the prisoners that would have been held there. An earthwork bailey to the northwest was also constructed around this time. During the Civil War, the tower was used as a military prison by the Royalists, but it had fallen into disrepair by the mid-1600s, and although later partially restored, by the early 19th century it had been completely abandoned. Its history includes being captured by King Stephen of England and later by Henry VIII. During the Civil War it was used more as an ammunition store before being taken in the siege of Lydford by parliamentary forces. In the 17th century, George Fox, the founder of Quakers, had his head shaved for preaching here during this time period. Lydford Castle really has seen its fair share of death and destruction, including Civil War battles and sieges. Throughout the centuries, the castle was notoriously known as a strong house for keeping prisoners, and by the 18th century it was used purely as a court of law and jail, being described as being a place of most horrible, filthy and vile. The court and the prison earned a grim reputation for hanging defendants in the morning and passing judgment in the afternoon. Conditions in the lower levels were pretty grim, and not many survived what became known as Lydford Law. The last part of this video is to Lydford's very fine stone church, named St Petroc's. The church is dedicated to St Petroc, who was a Welsh monk who travelled extensively throughout the West Country in the 6th century and died in 564. There are at least 27 churches in Devon and Cornwall which bear his name. The original Saxon wooden church in Lydford may have been burnt down by the Vikings when they attacked Tavistock and Lydford in 997 AD, but it is possible that it lasted until well after the Norman Conquest of 1066, but now nothing remains of it. The first mention of a stone church in the village is in 1237. After that, there are references to building work on the church in 1261 and in the middle of the 15th century. At one time, a considerable quantity of lead was taken from the roof of the church to repair castles in Cornwall. Inside the church is an enchantingly compact granite space full of golden brown woodwork, which gives off a true grotto vibe with its bare walls and pillars. The woodwork inside, though, is what brings this church to life, and it gives it its character. There really is so much to be looking out for when visiting the Church of St Petroc. The intricate wood carvings on the ends of the pews are really interesting. Each one being different, they show a saint or a holy man, surrounded by a border of animals, plants and words. There are creatures from the sea and land, birds, insects, animals ranging in size from rabbits to goats, and there are also many exquisite flowers, amongst them the primrose that has been carved. Continuing into the chancel, the grotto aspect of the church intensifies. This is probably because of the dimensions of the old 13th chancel have been kept more or less. But the features of the incredible wooden screen, the wooden ceilings and decoration, and the incredibly pretty stained glass windows that have depictions of biblical stories etched onto them, there really is plenty to explore. On your way out of the church, you might notice on the right hand side that there is a very interesting display of models of the village throughout its long life, as well as the late Saxon or early Norman tub font. Who would have thought that this small village church could have made such a mark on English history? This church from the outset might not seem much, but inside it really is quite remarkable, as are the gravestones that surround the site. It's worth noting that there is a feature of the watchmaker's tomb, which is located near the entrance to the porch just before you come inside. The watchmaker's tomb is now sited inside the church to prevent further damage from the weathered elements, bears a unique inscription describing George Roltley as if he were a clock himself. The amusing inscription engraved on the slate tombstone has been hung on the interior wall inside the church. As Lydford is situated on the fringes of Dartmoor, it makes a perfect base from which to explore the historic market towns and the pretty villages and countryside of Dartmoor. Lydford is a settlement which has risen to great importance and then transitioned gracefully to become a village of charm and character. So that's it for this week, and we really hope that you've enjoyed our visit today, visiting both the church and castle here at Lydford. If you did, please hit that like button, click the notification bell, and even hit that subscribe button to never miss another video. We want to say a massive thank you to our channel members and Patreons for all of their ongoing support. If you'd like to be involved, please have a look in our description box and join the PIM family. So we'll see you in the next one. Till next time.